What's up, guys? I'm back in the garage for part 2 of this rear end revamp, as I'm calling it. I have a lot left to do. In part 1, you saw me cut this bed apart, take 12 inches out of it, and weld it back together in my first ever Bedbob. And I think it turned out pretty nicely. Today, I'm going to be diving right in and taking the paddle wheel to these spot welds in a more aggressive manner, to the point where I'm hoping they will be very uniform by the time I'm done. I want to smooth them right out and get them ready for this stuff, which I just got in the mail. This is a Bondo. It is metal reinforced filler. It is high strength, supposedly, and they advertise that you can drill and tap it. That's crazy. I will not be testing that out, but the fact that they advertise it as being so high strength hopefully means that it will contribute to at least a little bit of the structural integrity of this Bedbob. I don't need it to, but you know, it's always nice to have a little more strength in something you've cut apart and welded back together. And I have almost zero experience with bodywork. I've done it maybe once or twice in my life, and it's never been that good. But luckily, I do not need it to look that good by the end of it. I just need it to be somewhat uniform, cover up this seam a little bit, and you know, when I paint it, it won't look like total crap. So the bar's pretty low, which is great. And then, before I leave today, I'm going to cut some cardboard and start playing around with designs for mounting arms for the bumper that I'm about to build. Remember, I'm going to build a wraparound tube bumper that kind of wraps around and follows this contour. And I'm thinking I'm going to combine the frame plating that I said I'm going to do and the mounting arm. So the mounting arm will be the frame plating. It'll sit right on the outside edge of the frame, protrude out like that, and maybe the tube will run through it or something like that, and maybe the toe point will be a further extension of that. So I don't know. I'm just starting to play around with some ideas. There will be some CAD in this video once I figure out the design, but you guys are going to see it real time. So anyway, let's dive in. Well, it is Bondo time. $18, $19, $20, $21, $24, $25, $26, $27. All right, I have a whole bunch of this filler laid on there. I think this stuff's going to serve its purpose just fine. Looks pretty ugly right now, but my idea was to lay it on as thick as I reasonably could so that when it cures and I start sanding, I have plenty to work with, and I can make this whole bedside exterior as uniform, you know, as possible. And then I wanted to show you guys this. So this is just a really quick cardboard cutout here of one of the bumper mounting arms. This hole, the main bumper tube, will run through that, weld to it, and then there's a toe point. I'm going to thicken up the toe points, and the bumper arm itself will be made out of like 3/8 or 1/2 inch plate. The tube will just continue along, wrap around the other side, and I'll tie it into this cross member with a couple of 45-degree pieces. And then for the swing out, I have decided to once again go with a bumper mounted swing out, not a tailgate swing out, and it will sit on top just like my old one did, to preserve as much rearward clearance as I can manage. It's going to be made all out of 1 3/4 inch 120 wall, might be a little smaller, but I have some ideas floating around in my head. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to head back and fire up my computer and CAD up what I have in mind for a bumper. So I'm going to do that, and then I will show you guys the whole design. Alright, here is the bumper assembly drawn up in Solidworks, and I think it looks pretty good. It's somewhat simple. I have a single wraparound tube for the bumper itself, 2 bends in it. I have a couple of mounting plates here, if I can zoom in, that'll slide on the outside of the frame and weld. This is my shackle crossbar, I just modeled it in just to see where things would fit. A couple of side braces here, a couple of diagonal pieces, tube pieces that'll tie into the shackle crossbar. I might add a couple more pieces here during fabrication. We'll see. For a hinge, I am using really simple hardware here. This is a 1 1/4 inch grade 8 bolt. Not your traditional hinge hardware, but I think it's going to work out pretty well because I can adjust the swing resistance by just cranking on that lock nut a little more. And a 1 1/4 inch grade 8 bolt is going to be so stupidly strong that I'm just never going to worry about it. I have a couple of brass bushings in here in the Swingout barrel sleeve thing. And then for the Swingout, I have one bent piece here. I have another bent piece here. I have a support diagonal gusset piece of tube. For the latch, I'm going to use a clamping latch this time. And my idea is to notch this tube, put a piece of plate in here, and I'll probably just tap these holes so this notch on the backside won't actually be there. But just tap these holes and screw the clamping latch to it, and I will weld the hook for the clamping latch to this bumper tube. Then I got my toe points, which are thickened up with some extra plate. And that, guys, is pretty much it. It is a simple bumper that I think looks good and will absolutely serve its purpose. So, yeah, let's get building. All right, well, the good news is that this filler has cured up very nicely. It is rock hard and ready for sanding, and I will get to that. But not today, because today is for bending tube, which I am super excited about. This is the first day in my life that I have ever bent tube. And I feel like it's a big step for me because, you know, all the big boy off-roaders are all very proficient tube benders if they build their own stuff. And it's a skill that I want to be good at. So it's day one. I have practiced on this little scrap piece of DOM. I've put a couple of small bends in it. This is hot rolled electric welded HRU tubing, which is slightly weaker if you look at the spec sheets, but for a bumper, it's not a big deal. If I was building a roll cage for a dragster, I would not use this stuff, but it's been proven that it works just fine in low-speed off-road applications for even full roll cages. So that's what I'm using. It's way cheaper and should be easier to bend and work with. I'm going to load up a piece in here. As you hopefully saw by the design, I've made the bending really easy on myself for my first time bending tube. Two of the parts have one bend in them. One is a 90-degree bend, one is like a 45-degree bend, but I can overbend it a little and just cut it. So that should be easy. And then the actual bumper has two bends in it, two 90-degree bends in the same plane. So hopefully all of that isn't too much of a hassle, and I will have success. It is time to get down to the real business here and make the bends in the actual bumper tube. That means I need to make two 90-degree bends in the same plane on one piece of tube. And while that's not anything of a big deal for an experienced tube bender, I'm slightly intimidated by doing it. I don't need it to be perfect, but I'd like to get it as close as I can. So what I've done is I have scribed a center line on the tube in each of my two bend locations, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to set that line up at the top of the die, and hopefully that'll put me in the same plane when I move the tube. But yeah, that's my method. Let's see if I can pull this off, guys. Alright, there's bend number one. Let's get this out of here and move it. In traditional Seth fashion, I screwed up my scribe lines, but I have this awesome little angle finder as a backup. Right here on the top of the die, well, let's get it to light up again. If you let it settle out, it was settling out around like 1.08. Yeah, right there it goes, 1.07, 1.08. I'm not taking a ton of solace in that 100th place or having a ton of confidence in it. But if I go to the bend, and I line this up as nicely as I can at about 1.05, so I'm within a tenth, and I think that's good enough. So I'm going to make this bend, crossing my fingers that it turns out nicely. All right, see how we did. Guys, I'm hyped. I know you're not going to be able to have the best view here through my little wide-angle camera, but for all intents and purposes, these bends came out on the same plane. It looks great. I think I'm within like half a degree, like 0.4 or something like that, which I can actually pull out when I go to weld it. I can get a ratchet strap on it or a jack or something and kind of just tweak it just enough to get these things perfectly level, if I even want to. It's so close. And these bends are like a perfect 90. I am so excited. I'm gonna mock it up for you guys just so you can see what it's gonna look like, but I held it up and I get more excited about this project every single time I do something. But let me mock it up and show you. Hopefully you'll be as psyched as I am. Okay, I quickly discovered I don't have an awesome way to mount this up right now, and I'm not gonna waste a ton of time doing it, but I decided I will hold it here so you guys can appreciate how awesome this will look very shortly. When it's mounted, it'll be about 1 inch higher, and it'll hug the body a little closer, but this is about how close I want it to the body. It looks like it's just meant to be. But anyway, guys, this is super exciting to me. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut out some more tube, specifically the pieces for the upright support on the swing out and the diagonal pieces that tie into the crossbar, and then maybe another diagonal piece for the swing out, but just some more tube, and I'm going to try out my new tube notcher as well. Guys, check it out. I wanted to show you this. This is another new tool I got. It is the world's cheapest tube notcher that still gets good reviews. It is made by Speedway Motors, and I'm going to use it to notch all the diagonal tubes on the swing out and bumper. And I'm pretty excited to use it. I have tested it out already, as you can see by the wear on the hole saw, and it works great. Let's get some tube in here and see how she does. Guys, I am freaking destroyed. I'm hitting a wall here. It's only like 10:20 at night. I expected to work later, but I'm just really tired, so I think this is going to need to wait until probably Sunday morning. But I made a lot of progress. Check this thing out. It's all cool now. I really just threw it together, but it ended up just going together really nicely. Looks like I tried a lot harder than I did. So I'm really happy with it so far. I will be back. What's left to do? Cut out bumper plates, cut out some more pieces of tube, and figure out the hinge. So, a few more things to do, but we're getting close. See you guys soon. Good morning, guys. It is Sunday morning. Feeling a lot better, a lot more rested. Back at the shop. It's time to get going on the bumper again. First order of business today is to finish off the bumper mounting plate. So I'm going to cut out some 1/2 inch plate and get it on the mill. So let's see if I can't make something that looks halfway decent. There we go. Ah, buddy. Okay, let me quickly show you guys the fruits of my labor here. So this is one of the bumper mounting arms slash toe points I just made up on the mill. 1/2 inch plate, beefy as heck. You can see here, just as intended, it slips right over the tube, and I can work it around the bend, right into position, and so this will weld to the frame, and I'll run a weld around the bumper tube to interface, or to connect it to this plate. And then I have a couple of laser cut steel pieces coming that I will weld on either side of this toe point, and the hole will continue through, and it'll just thicken it up to 1 inch, which is more or less standard. Makes me feel a little more comfortable. All right. I'm back at the truck, and it's an exciting day because it is finally time for the first mock-up of this bumper tube on the back end of this thing. But before I even start that, I'm going to cut the hole for the bolt that's going to go through, I guess for the sleeve that will contain the bolt that goes through the swing out hinge and then the this bumper tube. And to do that, I'm going to use this 1.5 inch hole saw. I just bought it. I really tend to break these things. I'm hoping I can keep this one intact. They're not cheap, and I like to use them more than once, so I'm going to try my best here. Oh! Broke the drill bit. This thing is cheap as hell. Oh well. Check it out, guys. Have it mocked up here. I'll spin it up for you. Yeah, beautiful. Look at that. Oh, it's so good. I love it. All right, I'm gonna take some measurements and then maybe tack this thing together. Well, guys, made the drive, back in the shop. Trying to get stuff on the welding table right now, but I am hoping tonight I can get this thing together enough so that I can fit it on the truck and maybe we can find a weld. So, fingers crossed. I can make some serious progress here. Let's do it. Before I get started in earnest, I wanted to show you guys what I got in the mail, which is pretty exciting to me. These are my laser cut steel parts from Send Cut Send, and they look great. This service, Send Cut Send, consistently has the best pricing I have seen, or some of the best pricing I've seen on laser cut parts, and man, they have a really easy process. So, got tire carrier plate with 3 bolts that are going to go through it. I have some 1/4 inch pieces of steel that will thicken my toe points. I will show you where those go here in just a second. And then I have some supports here for my swing out. This piece will grab to the bottom of the swing out tube, and this piece is going to wrap around the bumper tube. So when it's closed, it will sit very tightly in position and be supported by these pieces and not just the hinge. So, very cool. Let's get started getting this stuff together. Well, it's sort of a miracle, but I think I have it pretty much perfect. So I'm going to weld it before I breathe too hard and screw it up. Check it out, guys. Got these side braces cut out and notched, and now all I have to do is tack these in here too, and that'll be all the tacking I have to do on the bumper itself. Then I can move back to the swing out. Boom, we have ourselves a tube bumper, guys. It's only tacked together right now. I just have it sitting over here to cool down, settle out, and I'm gonna move back to the swing out, but I wanted to give you guys a look before I do anything else. Looks good. Loving it. Swing out time. Let's go. Let's see how my little loop fits here. Wow. That fits great. Look at that. Perfect. Well, the moment has arrived to put the swing out together for the very first time. I have to run this barrel sleeve through this hole I drilled in the tube. And it should fit through here. There we go. And I want to make sure it is perfectly perpendicular. And to do that, I'm going to use my massive 1.25 inch bolt. And I'm just going to try to use a square and hammer it around until I like it. Now I'm going to weld the barrel on the swing out, and then we'll assemble it and see how close we are. Got these sweet brass bearings that I'm going to use after welding. They don't want to go in. All right, hold on. All right, they did go in. I was just being stupid. Alrighty. Check it out before I even get the supports on. Let's swing it out. Nice. That's really nice. Really, really nice. I like it, guys. I really like it. It's turning out great. Check it out. Guys, this thing is sweet. One last look before I disassemble it for the night, and we are going to the garage because it's time to test fit this thing on the truck. I am quite optimistic because things are going together just as I planned. All right, guys, moment of truth. See if this thing fits. First test fit on the truck. Let's see if I screwed this up. Oh, that's gonna fit. Oh, yeah. Oh, crap. These stupid little sheet metal pieces are going to be in the way of the crossbars, which I already welded on. That's all right. Okay, get the grinder. All right, here we go. Take two. For the fitment. Oh, that's so good. Check it out, guys. Oh man, it looks so good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it off, and now that I know it fits, all these tacks and everything, it's time to final weld them. So I'm gonna throw a mask on and run some beads. Oh my gosh, this is so satisfying. It is a historic moment. We're gonna try to get everything roughly together here. That looks pretty good. I still have the bumper just clamped on, so it's not super solid. Hopefully it doesn't just fall right off. Oh yeah. All right. Unfortunately, my camera died, which sucks because I wanted to show you guys this last little bit of welding, but while it was charging, I burned in this gusset piece and the mounting plate for the spare, and I think that concludes pretty much all the welding on the bumper and the swing out. Maybe there's something I forgot, but I think that's pretty much it. And I wanted to give you guys one last look at this thing sitting on my truck, just clamped on there because it looks really good. I'm just really pleased with it. I know I've said it a million times in this video, but I'm proud of this one. It's always a very satisfying feeling to dream something up in your head, draw it on paper or in CAD, and then make it a reality. And I think this bumper and swing out represents a step forward in my fabrication abilities. But anyway, guys, that's enough for one video. We're not quite done. I need to make the cross braces that tie into this cross member, those diagonal pieces I showed you in CAD, and I also need to make that latch design I showed you. I think that's going to work out. We will see. I might need to modify it a little bit, but that's a task, or those are tasks for the next video. Also in the next video, I'm going to finish the bodywork, which I'm not super excited about, but finish that off and paint everything. And yeah, I think part 3 will be the conclusion. But anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed watching. This one was a lot of fun, and I'm just so happy with it. If you liked the video, throw me a like, subscribe so you don't miss part 3. I'm going to try to make it a good conclusion. And tell me what you think. Tell me if you like this design, if you think I missed something, or if you're psyched on it as much as I am. Comment below. Hope you guys have a great day. Thanks again for watching. See you soon.